feel like a lot of my life, unconsciously, I was yearning to just play more and to just be, as opposed to needing to be doing all the time. And I never really allowed myself to do that. And I look at the content that I'm putting out, what I've done here, not regretting any of it, but realizing that I'm only showing like 20% of me. And it's like a more militant, directing 20% that like, no one likes that. I don't know if we talk to that way.
You would think he's super serious, but when we're together, he is not in that mode. That is like the smallest percent of what you are when you're just like being yourself.
The part of you that you molded is simply just there to protect you. It's not a villain, it's not evil. It's just the version of ourselves we became to try to get the most love we possibly can. I say all that with an immense amount of compassion, grace for myself. Very much filled with excitement of what this can look like for the next chapter.
We both have been on the inside of this struggle. I still to some extent have this when it comes to like not wearing makeup. I have a little bit of a recoil when like a camera comes out and I don't have like my face on, that's what I call it. So I know I still have this to some extent.
Can I talk about something that happened yesterday?
Of course you can.
So I'm gonna say this in directing the camera. I fart a lot.
Oh.
So
I did not see that coming. What?
And you're around for that. This is just the level of freedom I'm ready for. But I will yawn, burp, fart, pick my nose, like in front of anyone.
Welcome back to Listen Before Love. We are back again. This is going to be a special episode because we're going to bring you into something that we are uncovering right in this very moment in time. The theme is going to be connecting and reconnecting with your inner child and that feeling of play, letting go, not taking everything so seriously, not having to come across a certain way. And why are we talking about this? Because we're going through it, baby. We are going through it.
Hardcore. Hardcore. So just want to bring you all into what's been going on in our lives behind the scenes and everything. So, this podcast is one of the many, many things we do. And for the past year and a half, we've been doing our best to make everything work somehow. But we're not really the systems thinkers, not really the person there to organize things. We're here to create, we're here to expand, we're here to galvanize, we're here to share our love and light. But there's so much that needs to go on behind the scenes to make all that happen in a way that doesn't lead to our lives being super stressful and chaotic. And so recently we've been very grateful to bring on one of my really good friends, a former client of mine that I've had for over a year now. And just an amazing guy. He's really going to come in and just be pretty much our general manager and make sure everything around the businesses, around the podcasts, around the offers, around everything is just running really smoothly. One great thing though about this whole thing is that I wasn't really expecting was now that he's a part of the team, we have an extra set of eyes on everything we're doing. And some of the things we were already conscious of, some things we're unconscious of.
Right.
And a lot of that comes down to the system, stuff like that. But also there was one big thing that yesterday that I got a flat out cooking session from Elle and our general manager. And oh man, it really hit me deep. And I just want to talk about that here today. So basically, my life, I feel like for all my life, I grew up really, really fast. And it was kind of unique because I didn't really have to. I remember when I started like working when I was pretty young, when I started doing all these different things at a younger age than necessary, even my parents were like, you don't have to be doing that, right? You don't have to, whatever it was. But I wanted to be an adult so badly. I wanted to be good at business so badly. I wanted to just just be wanted and to be respected to the highest level I possibly could. And the way I grew up, that was oftentimes in terms of how someone's doing financially, how well they're doing in business, how well they're doing their health, how well they're doing just a lot of external metrics, all of which that matter in life, but doesn't necessarily need to be the focal point of a young teenager by any means. And so ever since I was like in middle school, I think I had this mindset. And so I learned everything about personal finance and really get into personal development and just learned a lot from my age, was investing my own money. And then when I turned into adult, I got licenses to help others invest their money. And I was able to kind of wear like the suit quicker than the average person, if that makes sense. Usually it takes after college and now you have to go to your job dressed a certain way. I was doing that ahead of time on purpose, even though I was self-employed in my own ways. I wanted to kind of be that guy. I want to be the business guy. I want to wear business professional. I want to be the man. I want to be the leader. And it's become very clear that when we really want that, oftentimes it comes at a cost of the inner child within you, the play, the joy, the spontaneity that life can offer. And yeah, I feel like a lot of my life, unconsciously, I was yearning to just play more and to just be, as opposed to needing to be doing all the time. And I never really allowed myself to do that. And I think yesterday, when our GM came over to have just like a normal work session and the conversations were going, and I think I made it more about myself than needed, and like how I don't want to be doing these things, I want to do these things and all this. And these people are pretty much professional coaches also. They knew immediately that there was something else under the surface that I wasn't sharing that I need to talk about. And I say cooking session because it was question after question after question, because they saw something in me that I wasn't expressing. And after a few hours of these conversations, it just became very clear that for so long, I've just been depriving myself of feeling like a kid, feeling like I'm 25, because I'm 20 freaking 5.
Yeah.
I think we forget that oftentimes. And when I was younger, even if I was doing kid-like things, I never allowed myself to really fully be there and enjoy the moment. It was always like, I should be doing this instead. I should be doing that were just so arbitrary and not necessary at that time, and were something that people in their 50s would be doing to get ready for retirement, pretty much, And I've noticed that it's had a deep effect on me in how I show up in ways that are intended to be how I make the impact in the world, right? So, especially in front of a camera, like even a lot of the past Listen Before Love episodes, I felt as if I'd go into this mode of just like teaching almost, and all that was necessary. And if you're watching this, and you probably watched other episodes beforehand, I hope you've gotten a lot out of it and enjoyed it, and it helped your life in some way. But I realized that although that's something that is needed at a certain time, like the teacher in me, the coach in me, to be like, this is how I recommend do this. If you're having this and this is happening, you gotta do this instead. That's needed, but also that's not all of me.
Mm.
And I feel like for so long, I've had somewhat of this chip on my shoulder. And even more in particular, like this debt that I've felt to, I guess, everyone around me, to be a certain way, to be a certain like leader and grown man at a very young age, and all these different things that didn't allow for me to be the kid that I could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, like the childlike part of me, I haven't let that be expressed to pretty much anyone except you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. and to different variations, some a little bit to like really close friends, some of it to family. But even then, it's just like, it feels more like an adult conversation with everyone. And that's not what life is about. This, if you want it to feel like it can be at any point, feel like an entire playground.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to feel like a war zone at all moments, or a business meeting at all moments. And I think what's happened there is, I look at the content that I'm putting out on my personal podcast, looking back at what I've done here, not regretting any of it, but realizing that I'm only showing like 20% of me. And it's like a more militant directing 20% that like, no one likes that. I don't know if we talk to that way.
I call it the laser. And I love the laser. The laser is really necessary, but the problem, or not so much problem, but the challenge arises when people are only seeing that side of you when there's so much more to you than that side. Because like if you just watch clips where Cam speaks on like this show or on his personal pod, you would think he's super serious. Yeah. And you would think he's like I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I get up and I eat 12 eggs and then I run around the house and I do all these crazy things. And like, you think he's like a Goggins type person because he comes at you and he's staring at you right in the eye in the camera. And it's like a woo, people have a hard time making like direct eye contact with Cam sometimes, especially when he's in that mode. But when we're together, he is not in that mode. Like that is like the smallest % of what you are. When you're just like being yourself. Now you're really effective in that mode. And when it does need to come out and the moment calls for it, it's amazing. And there's so much energy and heart there and care there. And so I don't regret absolutely anything because that is a part of you. It's just not all of you. And it almost seems like we uncovered that you have a default. There's like a mode that comes out that you think you have to bring forward, instead of just allowing whatever is there to express. And that's what we were teasing out yesterday. We're understanding what is the fullest expression of you as Cam, and how can we bring more of the holistic person that you are into as many different contexts as possible. So I just wanted to add that because it's funny. I mean, you can do this test on yourself if you're somebody who makes content or even just shares on Instagram stories. Do you feel like your content feels like you?
Yes.
Like, does your content feel like what it would be to meet you in person? And if there's a dissonance there or a gap there, what is causing that gap? So when I looked at the situation with Cam, and it was me and our GM talking to Cam about this yesterday, there's this gap of like playfulness and joy and smiley, goofy gooberness that I think most people miss about Cam. If you were just to look him up online, watch his videos, you think he's very serious. And it's just funny because that's not how it feels to be around you.
At all.
At all.
And it was so funny because the same GM, I'm starting pretty much a basketball league, an informal part at this moment here in Austin, but a basketball league.
Right.
Where I'm having people that are part of my community, True Brotherhood, that live in Austin. We go play basketball on the weekends. And then we're kind of planning out to how to expand that.
So fun.
But every guy there, especially the GM that came with us, who won, he's like the best player by far.
Yeah, MVP.
They all were like, man, I love you on the basketball court. Because they get a different side of me. Like I'm a hardcore trash talker, but I'm also like always laughing. I'm always having fun. Like I treat it like the game that it is. And they haven't seen that part of me ever before. They get very serious Cam, very much directing them and like a hardo lieutenant pretty much. And trust me.
Or holding space for them.
Or holding space, yeah.
And let's talk about that because
sure.
What part of you do you feel comes out the most? I'd be curious what you perceive, and then I'll share if I align with that.
I feel like in my content, it feels very much like I'm here to teach you something. I'm a teacher, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And sometimes more of like the hardo teacher, like disciplinarian. I'm not like jolly and goofing around, even though most of the day I am doing that. And so that's what comes out definitely in content.
Does it remind you of anyone?
I think it definitely reminds me of everyone I've kind of, people that I've tried to emulate online for so long. So like I think of like a Dan Coe, something like that, who's an incredible writer and very much in our community at this moment. Very serious, never really smiling. And then also I think just the immense amount of like branding there is out there around the CEO and the grind set, right? Like the whole, like you said, waking up at 4 a.m., doing certain things, very disciplined this way, you talk to people in this way. And because I'm just new to this, I'm new to all this. and I don't know how to do it. I'm literally just figuring out. And so I'm like, oh, that's a template that people use and they look successful. So I'll just be that. But it has robbed me of so much, I feel. It robs myself and others from experiencing the true soul and your heart when you speak, to really just feel the words coming out of your mouth as opposed to taking blind direction by any means. It feels like the way I've been talking, it can be going in one ear, out the other. And I even watch it back and I'm honestly kind of disgusted at it.
Really?
Like I look back at like some of my reels and my podcasts. Again, I'm not that hard on myself in terms of these things, but there's something about that really rubs me the wrong way because it doesn't feel like it is embodying all of me. And yeah, it's something that I really would like to just shift going forward.
Yeah.
And I've been taking these mini steps, especially, I mean, today, in the past handful of days, in the past few weeks, I've been doing like Instagram stories. Like I bring people into my life, showing what I'm doing, telling more conversations, laughing, joking more. And I've really just been enjoying that a lot. And I don't want to be like the serious teacher guy. That's not what I'm here to do. You know, like people and myself don't need more of that in the world. We need more like love and fun and laughter. And if I want to make an impact, like one of the greatest ways I can make impact is doing all the great things we want to do in the world with our communities and then podcasts and media and all that, but having an incredible amount of fun while doing so. And being able to take naps every day if I want to, be able to have basketball all the time if I want to, play video games, just hang out with you and dance around the kitchen if I want. Like I want that to be part of the day to day. And I want to, and this is a big part, I want to feel okay sharing that with the world. Because I've been okay sharing the very kind of CEO approved things, but not ever the playful, joyful part of me that is, I mean, 80% of who I am.
Right.
You know? And so, yeah, yesterday, you know, when you hear these things that when the people really close to you and with their opinions that you deeply, deeply trust are saying like, hey, your content and what you're putting out just isn't you. And this is why this thing isn't working. This is why that thing isn't working. Like, just show more of yourself and it'll all work. It's kind of like a slap in the face. But you know, it's not only best for everything we're building, but it's simply best for my highest growth. Like allowing myself just to live and be fully, unapologetically, and just to be joyful when I'm joyful, be sad when I'm sad, be everything in between fully, and not needing to only be a certain way for the world. So yeah, it was just a really, really big moment. And all that being said, I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it all comes down to what I feel as if a lot of my life feeling as if I had a debt that I need to repay to the world. Like I've had an incredible life, like very, very privileged in all aspects of the world when it comes to how I was raised, how I look, the opportunities I've been given, everything. And I've always felt this heavy weight on my shoulders to like make the most out of that. And that resorted to me like taking everything very seriously. Like it must be done. And what did my life look like if I didn't do it? I can't not just relax and chill. I remember even like living in Bali for 2 years. I was more stressed in Bali when I had no responsibilities, nothing to do, than I am now, because I wouldn't allow myself to relax. I wouldn't allow myself just to be fully in the present moment and not need to do anything or be a certain way for a certain person or certain, I guess, mission. And what I've realized, and this is just, I think, just how life works, right? It's like we have to live our lives truly at peace with any outcome. And then from that place gives us the highest chance of making the outcome fun enough. I think of it in relationships, right? It's like the moment you're at peace with you being single and you loving your life fully as it is and not needing anyone else, the moment you do that is the moment you begin to attract your dream person, because you've shed all of the neediness energy, the fear-based energy, the scarcity energy. And you're now living in a place where you, like, it's almost like a flip of a switch. You turn into this magnet and attract everything. And that works relationships, that works in business, that works in friendships, works with everything. And so it's been a consistent decoupling of pretty much my ego, a huge part of it, around feeling as if I am who I am. I'm respected. I'm loved the way I am because of what I'm doing, or the mission behind everything we're doing. But none of that matters. It really doesn't, like, at all. And it's just been unique for me to embrace that. And I want to share that with this audience because, like, I feel like they've seen a lot of that. They've seen a lot of the you should and all this and that. And all that was perfect. But I'm really looking forward to this next chapter of me just, like, being a goofy goober. Me just like having fun, you know?
Yeah.
And not only is that what the world needs most, but not saying it from a place of needing to do things that the world needs, from a place of this is just who I am completely. And I want all sides of that to be shared. I want to be fully expressed.
Yeah. It's so interesting what you were just saying about what the world needs. Because, like, let's break down that a little bit. It's like, isn't it interesting how we have even stories about, like, what people want to see, what people want to hear, what they want to view, and, like, where did we get that from? Like, what, just because, like, when podcasts first came out and the big podcasters who literally were just the first in did interview shows, and now everybody just wakes up and does an interview show and, like, no one questions it. It's like, who made the rules on this stuff? And a lot of the things we think we need to do because that's what people want to hear are just following someone else's playbook instead of going back to, like, the fundamentals of our own soul and saying, wait, what do I want to do? Like, truly, what would be a perfect capturing of my energy, of my soul, of how I express, instead of, oh, you know, well, this is what all the top shows do, so here we go. Like, I'll use this show, for example. We've never had a guest. As y'all know, it's just been me and Cam. And when we first launched the show, because I had more of a mindset of, well, wouldn't it be cool if it was me and Cam as hosts and we brought on couples to interview? I mentioned that in the very first episode. And I even put out tweets like, hey, if you know any couples, then recommend them and have them fill out this form and, like, let's have them on. Have we had a single couple on this show? No, because it doesn't feel right. Now, does that mean it'll never feel right? No, but I didn't want to just bring on randos to interview when I wasn't excited to talk to them, just because why? Somebody somewhere years ago said podcasts have to be interview style? No. So we resisted against what the world wants, air quotes, and just went with, like, what actually felt good to me and you, which is just to talk to each other in our living room.
100%. And that's, like,
that's awesome.
That's the same for this podcast. It's the same for life, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to live this life if I can't spend a considerable amount of the hours in a day cuddling you.
Yay!
You know? And
my
just
dream.
Like having great food, exercising, being out in nature. For me, playing basketball, playing video games when I want, writing, creating. I want to live life on those terms. Or else what's the point?
Right.
If everything we've quote unquote like wanted to do for the mission or for the impact, if that required us to live a life we don't want to live, was it really worth it?
Right. Or to live for other people, like to abandon our own desires and what feels really great to us and our bodies and our experience for, like, what we think people want. Yeah. When it's like, we can never create something to hope that it hits. Like, we're creating this hyper optimized, well, here's our target audience and here are the analytics and the person who watches this show is like this, they live here, they're this age. And if we were just constantly chasing what we thought people wanted to hear, it would feel so bland, so soulless, so in the mind. And, like, that's, I think, what was somewhat missing is that your embodiment is so strong. And when you're in your presence, I hope you guys saw that face he made. He just made one of those, like, meme faces. There's, like, the can you do it? I love that. I love that meme. Why are you so good at that? But, like, that is so much of Cam's genius. And I wish you guys could meet him in person and feel that energy of calmness and security and health radiating off of his body, because so much of Cam's genius, even though he has so many incredible thoughts, he's an amazing coach and he finds all the right words like a laser. That is not even the best part of him, in my opinion. Like, yeah, is that part really impressive and awesome and great? Yes. You guys have seen it. But the best part of him is being near him and feeling him. And our genius is funny because I think sometimes because we show up in certain contexts and say, well, this is how I gotta show up because I'm on this show. The cameras are on, everything's recording. So now I gotta give him a banger. I've gotta look into the camera and I gotta tell him something right here and I've gotta really deliver. You know, I've gotta put myself into an energy instead of just flowing with whatever energy is there in that moment. And why it's so interesting for Cam, as somebody who I would venture to say knows you better than anyone on the earth.
Yeah.
Like, we have spent an obscene amount of time together. I think we calculated it. It's got to be at least 14 hours a day of talking. I'm talking like talking. And we need to record that more because it's great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand. Literally all day we're talking.
All day.
It's quite ridiculous, actually. more words
I think we
per
might
day
be
than most.
In the Guinness World Record book for the couple that spends the longest time actually talking.
We're always going around the house. Everything we're doing, we kind of do simultaneously together.
Yes.
And we're in the midst of a conversation for the most part, which makes perfect sense why I have a podcast. Yeah. And we just want to do more of that. Our entire job is now making sure that we do more of our conversations in front of a camera.
Yes, like we were in the car today and we do Legree together. Legree is kind of like advanced hardo Pilates, if you've never heard of it. And Cam's mom is a master trainer. Shout out to Cam's mom. She is absolutely a queen. But we're going to Legree. We're driving there and Cam and I are just having this conversation. And he's like, see, this is the kind of conversation we need to record. And we say that like 20 times a day. Like whenever we're talking, because it's always interesting. We're like two little Mars rovers, like roaming around the earth and collecting data on the human experience and then being like, hey, did you see that? Yeah, I saw that. What do you think about that? Well, I think it happened because of that. It's like, that is literally us all day long. And so this show is like a slice of that. But interestingly, because we get DMs or we get topics that come to our awareness that we're responding to, it's more of like a structured container of a conversation. And there's a whole nother segment of conversations that Cam and I have that are unstructured, but they go to the most interesting places. And I don't know exactly where to put them, but they are so great. Like they probably would be like an entirely different show of just us roaming around talking about human behavior. I don't even know where they would go, but they're so good. They are so good. And in those moments are where you get like the truest sense of Cam, where he's just relaxed. He doesn't feel like the need to do anything or be a certain way or like bring out the laser on camera, and he's just making jokes and hee hoo hoo. And we're just having a great time. So that's the version of you, which I think is your true essence, that I really want people to feel. Because when people feel you, they love you. And it's so easy to love you. Are
you serious?
Yes. It's so, you're the easiest person to love in the whole world.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I love you.
I love you even more.
Yeah, I feel like our final form will be honestly just like live streaming our day.
That
like having a cameraman that like we love and just follows us around to, I mean, drives us in the car, hangs out in the house, whatever it is, just all day.
Awesome.
Because we're pretty freaking entertaining. Like all the time.
For real.
And so until we get there, having the podcast be our full selves, having Instagram Reels, stories, everything just be our full selves is just the next step for us, it feels. And I have done that so incredibly well, especially the past handful of months with the pod.
Oh.
Like it feels like it's you fully.
Oh.
And it's really admirable and something I really want to step more into, because the same you that I see in the kitchen in like your pajamas all day, in your big shirt all day, is the same you that you get when you're on this couch recording.
Aww.
And that takes like such a huge level of freedom that very, very few people have in this world. And I'm inching closer and closer to that. And I feel like yesterday was just a huge breakthrough for that. But once you're there, and again, I'm feeling this a little bit now, it is just the most freeing thing in the world. There's nothing you can't do.
What are you feeling right now?
I feel like the moment you're able to potentially be seen by hypothetically millions of people because you have a camera on your face and you don't change any bit of your behavior from what you would just be if you were alone or just with your best friend and wife, pretty much. that's a big level of freedom, and it feels like fully embodied authenticity.
Yes.
And that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah.
Right? And as coaches, that's pretty much what people are around us for.
It's so interesting. It reminded me of something. In the very beginning, we were talking about like being what we think people want. Like there's almost like this calculation in society where we all have masks and we all have certain like characters we default to depending on who's around, depending on the context. And when there's a camera in front of your face, it's like anybody would default to like there's almost this fight or flight that activates, I think, when most people are in front of a camera where they feel like they have to sit up straighter. They have to like make sure that their hair is in place, that they don't have like a fat roll hanging out, that like everything is like pristine. And then when they're speaking, if you make one small mistake or a little hiccup in your speech, you got to like do it over again. Or if you're like listening in your head about how you're talking and you don't like how it sounded, oh my God, I got to do it over again. And so much of what I see, I'm going to bring this up. I saw this Instagram reel like 3 weeks ago that lives rent free in my head. It was this woman basically sharing her process of recording content. And the whole Instagram reel was her recording the same sentence like 20 different times to get the right inflection on one word. Something about that was so dystopian, and like, no shade to this girl because like I really appreciated the honesty of her sharing that. It felt dystopian, disconnected from true expression, because if we're constantly trying to make something sound a certain way because we think that's what will go viral and we're like creating for the algorithm, where's the soul? Like truly, where is the soul? Like, does Theo Von create content for the algorithm? No. But how many times have I seen that video of him going, Bobby? How many times have I seen that?
100%.
100 times every time I open my phone. And like Theo Von is just himself, being himself. And people can't get enough of it because that's authenticity. That is the most magnetic frequency, is just somebody who's so funny, who is present, who is riffing in the moment, just being in his genius of being a whack. Yeah. And like letting people see it. And it doesn't matter if he gets like clipped a certain way. It doesn't matter if it's clips from 5 years ago. Like he owns every single part of it. And that is why people love Theo Von. And so it's just so interesting to look at like, do the people who are really at the top, like truly at the top, does Rogan play to the algorithm?
No.
Does Rogan like make him sure his shot looks exactly perfect and that he doesn't have like any hair out of place or anything? Like, does Rogan give a shit? It's like, no, the actual people who are at the top aren't hyper optimizing how they're coming across. And when you do that hyper optimization of your own image is where people feel a little tension in the video. Like they feel the tension that you feel. It's just so wild, because who came up with all these rules? Like who came up with these trends on Instagram Reels and short form where it has to be this like small short film quality production for Instagram Reels? It's like, who came up with that? And why are we all just doing that blindly? Like what? So it's wild. Like I just want to challenge this thought of we're in front of a camera and so now coach mode's got to come out, because we think people want that. But what if people want this? Like, what if people want us just talking about the thing behind the thing? Because that's super interesting, right?
100%. And doing it all in one take.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. We're dressed pretty well. We got, makeup on. We got other things on, whatever it is. But there's also a lot that we recorded with just us vibing.
Well, we've never done a retake.
100%.
Like, we're very good at that.
Call it the one take Jake.
Exactly.
One take every time. Just one take.
Yeah, we especially, I think, like, if we do hiccups or certain things, we don't even do, like, edits on the episodes. So if we have, like, a little small mistake in our speech, we'll keep that in there in the name of authenticity. Because I personally don't like editing out every little small hiccup or sniffle or moment where you say the wrong word, because why?
What's a wrong word?
What's a wrong word? And also, that's how people speak. So if you meet me in person and you watch a show, the like delta between who I am in person and this show is like very low. Like I feel it's a very good representation of who I am. And I speak the way I speak. Sometimes I'll get really excited and like start a sentence and then be like, no, I want to change the way I'm saying this sentence. And that's just who I am. If I had the editors go back and take out every little time that happened, when you meet me, you'd be like, wait, this doesn't feel like the person I'm used to. So it's just funny how it's sneaky and how we tell ourselves these stories about what people want to see. We have this show, so now I have to be a coach and I have to be a laser and I got to look and give value and give all this. But what if we're writing new rules? Like, what if people really need joy and expression and embodiment of what we're talking about? The stories, the insights, the little things we notice, the times when you've had breakthroughs and we discuss that. Like, what if that's what's missing in a very saturated landscape where everybody is trying to do the same thing and everybody's trying to be the laser? It's like, if everybody's the laser, nobody's the laser. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, what do you feel about that?
One thing came to me as you're saying that. I feel like at least every celebrity that I've ever looked up to, I think just kind of is standard for everyone. The celebrity that you admire the most is probably the one that's embodying the next level of authenticity that you're ready for.
Ooh.
Because I look at life, it's all like a mirror, right?
Right.
And so what we really admire in others is what we would really admire in ourselves if we allowed ourselves to be it.
Right.
And so there's a few people in the podcast space that I really, really enjoy. I love Theo Vaughn. I love Joe Rogan. I love certain NBA players. I love the ones that just embody authenticity to the fullest extent are the people I love the most. And when I think about it in the past, the other people that I used to enjoy, they were embodying a certain level of authenticity I didn't yet have. And I think a lot of them we're very open embodied people. So I've passed a lot of them. Now there's just a few others at a very high level that are doing really, really well that I'm like, damn, that's a level of freedom that I would love to have. And that could just be me, like being someone who's on media and just sees it in that way. Yeah. But I feel like that could be the case for just everyone's admiration towards celebrities. What makes them a celebrity is them oftentimes embodying themselves fully or their gifts fully. Now, none of them are perfect, and a lot of them have double lives that they don't show, whatever it is. But there are certain ones, and I think the ones that are kind of cancel proof, if you know what I mean. Right. They're cancel proof because
they're themselves.
They're themselves, and like people oftentimes see hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of them just being themselves, and you can feel the energy, and you just build a level of trust for that person. That when something comes out, it's like, no, they wouldn't do that. Or no, they mistook whatever could have happened. It's like you give them a lot more slack because you feel like you know them deeper. Yeah. But all these like surface level celebrities that we feel, some musicians, whatever it may be, when we hear things like that, we're like, oh yeah, they probably did. Right. It's like, what's the difference there? Right. Probably the fact that one, we felt as if we know, and we know them because we just feel the authenticity oozing from every part of them. It comes through the screen. It's amazing. So yeah, that came up for me during that. And it's like, what would be the opposite of being authentic? Being quote unquote fake and needing to be a certain way to be seen? I'm like,
I think a lot of it is unconscious performance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think most people do this consciously. Like, it's like a switch that gets flipped when they're in the presence of certain things. Like, you see it when people get on stage or have to do public speaking or turn on a camera, or this is a small one that I've been noticing within myself and I've been just working with. There's this weird phenomenon, and this is probably because culture is very mimetic, meaning that we just look at what's out there and then it comes into our being. Like certain phrases or memes or ways of being, looking, dressing, all of it. Someone does it once, people all laugh and say, oh my gosh, I love that. And it becomes a part of your identity. Like earlier today, we were talking about DJ Khaled and like another one, like he created another one. And then everybody just kind of said, oh yeah, let's all say that. So this is what I'm talking about. It's hard to know, like when we do things, is it us or is it because we've seen it so many times? So one thing I noticed within myself is that when I would go and record a video for Instagram stories, I would feel the need to say hello. Like I'd feel the need to be like if I had my phone, I'd be like, hi everyone, it's so good to talk to you all. And like that is creating a moment versus expressing how my natural energy is in the moment. And when I caught myself doing that and being like, wait, am I allowing energy to flow or am I creating energy? That was a huge unlock for me. So now what I'm doing, and this just happened like in the last week, is I just pick up my phone. I feel into like, who am I in this moment? Like really, who am I in this moment? What am I feeling? I know what I want to say. I know what inspired me to pick up my phone and to express. And instead of having a greeting, instead of saying, hey everyone, I hope y'all having a great day. Just want to pop on here and say, it's so funny how it's so part of my script that I'm used to saying that I can just rattle it off like that. And you know, how many times have you heard that? Like, let's just think about that. How many times have you heard that? He was doing that and then I brought that to his attention because I noticed it with myself. So what do I do now? I literally just hit record and start talking from whatever is just there. So it'll be like, today I had a meeting that was really interesting and I want to tell you all about it. So, and it's just like whatever is there instead of creating this almost artificial wave of energy that you're then having to like follow through. And now that I'm speaking this, I'm trying to think like, why do we do that? I think part of it is imitating what we know and we see. And part of it is creating like a barrier between what we actually want to say.
Yeah, why do we do that?
I'm riffing this in the moment, so I need to develop this further, but I feel like it's an intimacy fear. There's a part of us that like wants to put a buffer in like a warm up. We're almost like we're creating courage to say what we actually want to say. But then if we have like 10, 15, 20 seconds of just buffer, then we say less of what we want to say. So it's like a little less scary. And then if we start a video in a way that's like, hi everyone, whatever, probably people would skip it and not watch it. Isn't that interesting?
It's so funny. Yeah. As you said that, it feels like it'd be super important and kind of cool to try out. Just like record mid-sentence.
Right.
Like start saying a sentence beforehand and then record and keep going.
Right.
Like it's more in the flow.
There's no in the moment.
There's no, hey everyone.
Right.
This just happened.
The creation of a moment. It's just capturing a moment.
Yeah. That's the content I love the most.
Yeah.
And when you think about like the Theo Von clips, whatever it is, it's not like starting a scene. It's like in the middle of a scene already. It's just a good part of it.
And he's in a conversation.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll just do that going forward.
Exactly.
That feels like the most pure.
Yes.
And it feels like those moments come from them just documenting their conversation as opposed to creating that conversation for
creating
the
a
real
moment. Yeah.
Damn. I think we just unlocked the content game.
Yeah, I feel like this is very interesting to go into because whether or not you create content, it doesn't really matter. I feel like everyone has different slices of this. Like, you know what we need to talk about in this moment? Do you remember when we were at the grocery store and we ran into that guy who you said like becomes a persona when he talks to you?
Oh man.
Can you go into that? Because I think that this would actually create a different slice of analysis from what I'm talking about, because there is an in real life version of like hitting record and going, hi everyone. Like there's an in real life version of that. And we experienced that the other day. And I think we really needed to go on this.
Yeah. There's a certain type of person I feel that you can just sense in their energy and just by watching their behavior, it needs to wind up before they talk to you. I've had someone like this in my life ever since I was young. And let's be honest, like we're cool people. We're like memorable people. We're like especially well known here in Austin. Right. And so, but our entire lives, we've always been like popular people. And there's certain people of all ages that you could feel in their presence. They kind of go from being like, and they now notice you're like, they gotta, oh, hey, Cam. Oh, hey. It's like you see this change that feels so performative. And you're like, what was that?
Like, why'd you just do that?
Why'd you just do that? You could just be like, oh, what's up, Cam? Good to see you. You don't got to be like, hey, but how are you? And then, as these conversations go, it's always like, it's carefully curated what they say. And in their head, either as I'm responding to them or right before they say something, you can kind of feel as if they're prepping in their minds what they want to say. Like they're strategizing, they're planning out the next sentence, the next conversation topic. And there's been a few times like they'd say something, then a few seconds later they go back and like, oh, I didn't mean like that. I meant like this. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It was like, I didn't even ask, but you just start talking.
Right.
And so there's been a few times that happens. And it's so funny because, this happened in a grocery store, right? A few days ago. And this is someone who I've known, I wouldn't really call him a friend, but more of an acquaintance. And yeah, just honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of him. Like, I love everyone. Doesn't mean I like them all. You know what I mean?
This is important.
This is very important.
Say that one again.
You can unconditionally love everyone and also not like everyone.
Yeah.
You still have preferences for how you want to spend your time, right? And so this is someone I would say I have unconditional love for him, generally wish him the best, but I don't prefer to be around him. And that's completely okay.
Right.
And that, may be for whatever reason, even if they're fully formed and they're, fully embodied and fully expressed, whatever it is, and didn't have this performative aspect, I still probably wouldn't want to be around them. It's just difference in what we have preferences for. We all have different preferences of ice cream flavors. We have different preferences of people. That's completely okay. This person's definitely still on the path, to say the least, and doing his best.
Right.
Right. But the interactions, when I feel them, they just feel so performative. They feel so curated. And if they mess up, they're going to be hard on themselves. Once they walk away from that interaction, they're kind of replaying it, like, oh, fucking, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, they have like that moment. You could feel the energy.
Right.
And then, this is just us at the grocery store. So I'm going through the aisles doing my thing. And he, sometimes has to go by me to get to where he needs to go. And it's always like kind of awkward, when you know someone, you already had this interaction, and you kind of know like
he had already
done.
said hello.
Already said hello.
And
in
they
the
had
whole
a conversation. And in the conversation, here's another thing that he didn't go into that I want to mention. This is an archetype of person. And by the way, if you see yourself in what we're saying, like no judgment, unconditional love, like here are interpretations of this as like a nugget of wisdom and a nugget of reflection, if this resonates with you. So he said hello to this person, and then this guy like basically just starts going on about like all of this like very personal stuff happening in his life, like in the first breath of the conversation. And it was like deep stuff, like interpersonal, like work, things that he's going through on himself. Like, we're in the grocery store, my guy, like nobody asked for that conversation. It could have just been, hey man, good to see you. See you later, my guy. No one's asking.
I'll say what it was. It was like,
yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I'm sober now. I'm like, great. And then he's like, he just kept going on that a little bit. And he's like, well, let me backtrack. I'm not sober with like alcohol or drugs. I still do that all the time. Actually, we're gonna do some MDMA for birthday. And it just goes on. I'm like, okay. And he just keeps saying, he's like, I'm going through a 12-step program for detachment from others to make sure I'm not like chronically attached to them. And I'm like, cool, man.
Right. But like,
I didn't
how
ask
did that
anything.
fit? How did that fit in that moment?
Yeah, it was. So when they're performing, oftentimes they give more information than would have been needed for that moment. They didn't read the room. It's because they're trying to like share something, and that in their heads would make them feel more on your level or something you'd be interested in. It's like they're trying to bring up conversation topics to show you, hey, like, I'm equal. These are the same people that will kind of like name drop other people they hang out with that you'll know, just to show you that like they're kind of in the circle, or they're whatever is going on in their mind that would separate them from the person they're talking to.
Right.
And so there's just a lot of that going on. And it was just such like a spiritual bro conversation that I was just like, I hate this shit. Just like, shut up. I don't care about this.
When you're like in that moment, it almost feels like you're an audience being like tested material on.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like to me. It's like did you scrape your life for the thing you thought that like would either appeal to me or interest me, or like, why are we having to curate our being?
Bro, let me just go grab the bananas and broccoli. I did not sign up for this. This is literally right at the very front of those like automatic doors that open in every single grocery store. Within 5 feet of that. I'm like, hello.
Right.
Good to see you, man.
Straight
all right.
into sobriety.
I'm like, bro. So whatever. That happened.
But this is important to know because I do think with so much love and compassion, I have experienced many people who kind of come out in front with like an incredibly like heavy personal topic, thinking that it'll be like a point of bonding.
Like intimacy?
Yeah, it's like it's creating like a rushed intimacy that you don't need to do that. Like you don't, like I know that we share a lot on this show and then you're probably like, well, you guys have like, I know a lot about what you guys are doing. And it's like, well, yeah, absolutely. Because we're sitting here and there's a context. This is a show where people like know this is what we're going to be talking about. But if we were to be like walking around to everyone we see and being like, hey, Cam's learning how to play and become aligned with his inner child. And we actually had this moment the other day with our GM who came over and like, are we just going to come out of the gate with that? No.
Now, this is this is a show people subscribe to. And if you don't like what we're saying, you can literally just be like,
right.
Close. I'm done. Close tab.
The part of the show is to be open about what we experience. And so, I mean, I feel like that's part of the bargain you get in here. But if we were walking around the earth going up to people being like, hello, nice to meet you. Let me tell you about my inner child journey.
Yeah.
I mean, just
do you know why you're single?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to this episode of the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. So there's so many people that you can just feel this energy that they're performing. And I bring this up with, again, full unconditional love to this person. And he's probably watched this right now and you know exactly who you are with this amount of context. Perfect. You're meant to hear it if you're meant to hear it, whatever it is. That being said, we all have different levels of performativeness to us, right? And
Absolutely.
So what we started this conversation with, what I talked about, was me performing a certain way, putting on a certain hat and suit, be like, I'm the young business guy who's all about finance and building things that actually serve the world. That within itself is an identity in which I can perform to the world to pretty much have the world say, hey, please love me. Am I worthy now?
Right.
You know, and when you really get to that level and you understand that so much of our performativeness that we feel, whether it's that gut instinct that we feel, right, that we have to be right when a camera's pointing our direction or we're talking to a certain person, that's all coming from us just generally just want to be more loved.
Yeah.
And I have an immense amount of compassion because I myself am also going through this.
Oh, absolutely.
Every human I've ever met is going through to some extent. And so an immense amount of compassion and empathy for everyone at every level. That being said, if you're watching this, I think you're ready for the level of self-awareness to realize what aspects of your life you may be performing in that may not be necessary. And so, the same behavior of this guy, just to touch on this one more time, you can feel the wind up when he talks to you, and you can feel the wind down when it ends. And then as I'm just doing my thing around the grocery store, he wasn't ready to wind back up again. So he would literally turn away his entire body from me and continue, like try to ignore and avoid I wasn't there.
Right.
That happens. We do that around people, I feel, because we felt as if we needed to perform, and either we empty the gas tank, we don't want to do it again, or just we're not in the moment. So, okay, gotta get past. We could have just had a nice little, quick little 2-word banter thing if we wanted to.
Or like a fist bump.
A fist bump, whatever
like,
it is.
Yeah.
You have a go, whatever it is.
Right.
So
or a joke.
There are certain little mannerisms people do that would kind of show how they're feeling and how much they feel as if they need to perform around certain people or around to do certain things. And again, all that is because we don't feel enough love for ourselves, and we don't feel as if we can be our full self authentically, and that people would approve of that.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that have happened just in all of our lives to some extent, whether it's society, whether it's our teachers, whether it's our parents, whether it's things that happened to us our first job or college or whatever could have happened, that we don't know it, but unconsciously is curating our behavior to be a certain avatar or to wear a certain mask that would make us feel good enough to be accepted.
Right.
Good enough to be loved and to feel enough.
Yeah.
And even myself, who I'd say is pretty advanced in this area, I still have that myself.
Right. So do I.
And so it's completely okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's funny because the part of you that you molded is simply just there to protect you. It's not a villain. It's not evil. It's just the version of ourselves we became to try to get the most love we possibly can, to feel enough and to feel all the great feelings that we're meant to feel in this world, in this life, right? So, yeah, I say all that with an immense amount of compassion and grace for myself for what this has been, and very much filled with excitement of what this can look like for the next chapter. Like I would love for us just to hop on Listen Before Love going forward. Not for all of them. Of course, we'll still have the cooking sessions and the ones where it's more of a teacher and instructor. But I just want to hop on and be like goofy goobers.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I'm so excited for, whether it's this podcast or other content we put out. We're just being our full selves. That's going to feel just amazing. So I feel like we're doing that right now, and we'll continue that in different ways, just showing different parts of us. But yeah, I'm just immensely grateful to have a partner like you, and then now a business partner in our GM, that when they see parts of myself that I'm not fully expressing or embodying, whether it's for the, you know, the sake of the company or for not, I have people in place to lovingly, respectfully show me that. And so, yeah, just immensely grateful for you and wanting goofy goober within me to be shared the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's amazing because, like, you know, we can talk about this, and I think one of the reasons we're able to kind of see the layers of this so clearly is that we both have been on the inside of the struggle. Like, oh my gosh, this was a huge one for me when I was growing up, even up until like years ago. I still to some extent have this when it comes to like not wearing makeup. That's why like you won't see me, at least to this point. I've made videos in big shirt, which is my cotton shirt I wear like 80% of the day. But I still do have a little bit of a block around being seen in like a professional podcast with no makeup on. That'll be like my final boss most likely. But I have a little bit of a recoil when like a camera comes out and I don't have like my face on. That's what I call it. That's what my mom called it when we were growing up. And so I know I still have this to some extent. I can also relate to what Cam was saying around like the need to like wind up and then wind down. I actually think I used to do that, which used to be really confusing for people because people can just feel when you're disconnected from your natural energy. That's what they're sensing. So how would it be to experiment with not having to wind up or wind down and just greeting someone from the space that you're in? Because if you were to be in a mood where you're like, oh man, I really don't want to talk to this person, then what would it be to be super light and be like, hey man, not having the best day, but good to see you? And how might that create more of an intrigue and more of a connection than any of the wind up, super positive sharing a bunch about your life? Like, how might what you perceive to be like a bad impression or a bad moment end up making that person be like, I rock with that? Because it's honest. 100%. You know, it's honest, and it helps people see themselves and give themselves permission for not having the best day and almost being like, wow, he just did that? Oh, cool. Like, that's what?
Can I talk about something that happened yesterday?
Of course you can.
So, I'm going to say this direct in the camera. I fart a lot.
Oh. What?
So,
I did not see that coming. What?
You know, we're by each other all the time, right? And recently, do a lot more green drinks. I don't know what is going on. Broccoli. I've been gassing the house quite a bit. And you're around for that. And this happens when we're having dinner, when we're cuddling in bed, when we're whatever it is.
Everywhere.
And the past like year, and this may be a little too much. This is just a level of freedom I'm ready for. But I will yawn, burp, fart, pick my nose, like in front of anyone at any given time.
Yep.
If my body needs it and feels it, I'm doing it.
Right.
and she's
embodiment,
literally. Outbodiment, you know what I mean?
Oh my.
Most Shrek is like, better out than in, I always say. Anyways, context.
Boy, oh.
Our entire relationship, she has been seeing me fart up a storm.
Yes, I have.
And maybe there's some digestive issues there that I'm working through, whatever it is. Anyways.
Nut.
Anyways, I, up until very recently, have never heard you fart.
Not this.
And I'm like, you're not human.
Not that.
You're not human. And then there's every once in a while when, you know, the door's closed, you're using the bathroom, I hear it and I'm like, oh, it's happened. It happens. She's not a robot.
Well, he's also being quite chill about this. He will bust down the door and climb on top of me. as I am on the toilet.
Imagine your whole life farting up a storm next to your woman.
Uh-huh.
And along with other things, to pick the nose, the burp, the yawn, whatever things that are quote unquote disrespectful to do, not ladylike to do, not gentleman worthy to do, whatever it is. And I'm doing these freely, and she's like kind of parading me like, okay, good job, type thing.
I parade you?
Yeah, you too.
Will you fart?
Yes.
I guess I do kind of do that.
Yes.
I'm
and then
just supportive.
She has never done any of that to any level.
Okay.
And I'm around you all day.
Well, okay.
All day.
Let me correct the record, because when you fart and I don't make a positive reaction, you turn your head like, huh?
Yeah,
like you you want to know that I liked it.
Yeah.
So now I do give like, wow, Beaverton.
It's a feedback loop. The feedback
Which
loop.
now when I think about that, that's pretty hilarious.
Anyways, other day,
Fart
realized
parade.
you do fart just in your closed container. Understandable. Average human. This is literally a psychotic conversation we're having right now. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it feels good. We were in the bath together yesterday, which is another wild thing. Anyways, and the fart conversation came up.
Right.
And you said that you don't feel as if you can fart in front of me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
my mom told me when we were younger that like women don't fart. And women don't fart like in front of people. It's like a private thing. And if you like allow yourself to fart in front of people, then like the mystery and the allure disappears.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, this is TMI, so sorry, Mom, maybe she'll laugh at this, but I, to this day, have never heard my mom fart. Ever. So she has like that as a standing rule for like how women behave. So I got conditioned by it.
All respect and love in the world. That's just, she didn't make that up. That's just been going on for eons, thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to happen anymore.
Right.
Like, it's just a bodily function.
But,
like we talk about women's rights. Like, let's fart now. You
fart now.
You can do everything that a man can do. Free the fart. But this is, again, the funniest example.
Yeah.
For the performative thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I bring it up. It's like, this is, to connect the dots now. We get it.
Right.
Connect the toots. Anyways. Anyways, there's a certain part of it, it's like little societal things, and I bring up something so like small and stupid like a fart.
Right.
But there are different ways, especially for women and men in their own ways,
where
we've been told we can't be a certain way, and we're shamed by something that is a natural part of the human condition. Now, to the level I do it, maybe a little extreme, maybe look at some digestive issues there, you know what I mean? But the average person, like, it's okay. I'm literally around you all day. If you fart, it's fine. And
it's kind of funny.
You know, we just have the funniest conversations that are so symbolic for something that feels like much deeper. But like a woman knowing she can fart in front of her man, what else does that unlock? You know?
What else does that unlock?
I feel as if they can be a level of freedom and free expression they never felt before. Does that make sense?
I guess that's true.
Is it, you connect the dots there?
Yeah, so you feel like if there's an area where someone's withholding, then it might bleed into other areas.
Almost definitely.
Okay,
you feel shame in one
that.
area, you feel shame in others.
Right.
And you feel shame about the small stuff, you're definitely feeling shame about some big stuff.
Right.
That's just, I think, the same for everyone in all things.
Right. Well, you're not being fully expressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now this is definitely to an extreme.
No, but it is very interesting.
But it's interesting.
It's very interesting to consider, and I would agree. Because if somebody is withholding a natural way that they would be when they're in the presence of another, like here's a good test. Like, would you do it if you were by yourself and no one was around?
Yeah.
That's the question.
If
so
you
it's like,
do
how
it
would you
by
act?
yourself when no one's around?
Right.
That is the state of embodiment that is not saying something you have to be, but something that is possible to also do around others.
Right.
And it's okay. If someone is going to judge you and shame you and not want to be with you, not want to do the business deal with you, not want to, whatever extreme circumstance we think is in our mind that causes that fear to be rational. If we believe that person will not do this because they heard us fart, really? Those are people who want to marry, they want to convince with? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You know? And so this is, again, a wild example. But there are so many little things that we are performing in ways that we never could have even imagined. But like, who made up these rules?
Yeah.
And what would be most natural for humans to live? And let's just do that.
Yeah.
How would we be by ourselves?
Yeah.
And just allow others to join us.
Yeah.
You know, but again, there's so much conditioning, so much programming. You need to be a certain way. For all different groups of people, all have different types of, all different cultures have different ways of going upon things, all oftentimes rooted in shame if you don't do it.
Right.
And so just,
or someone somewhere along the line deciding like, this is how we do things
for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like who did that, you know?
Yeah.
And so just uncoupling those, making those conscious, and then asking yourselves, like, is this a lifestyle I want? Like, genuinely, does this feel good to me? I feel right. Is so freeing. That is what the work is. That's what everything around relationships are. That's it's all that. It all comes back to that. Us being free enough and having the courage to be our full selves, and trusting that if or when a person is ready to join us, or a group of people are ready to join us, that they will. That fully embodied version of ourselves is worthy of love, is enough.
So true.
You know? And so, long story short, your farts are enough.
Your farts are welcome here.
Your farts are welcome.
This house welcomes
all
the farts.
Parts of you. All parts of you.
There's this thing. There's this woman. We'll tell you about them another day. But there's this couple who we follow, and she does this meditation, and I do a great impression of her. I must say, we love this couple. It goes, I call back all parts of me right here, right now. Did I channel her essence well enough?
A little bit. You can do better though.
Really?
You've had times where you like the accent is going.
The accent's going. Okay.
And different times.
Yeah. I'll work on it, and and then give you guys the real sauce.
We'll make it into a meditation.
Yeah, for real.
But man, what a fart talk.
Yeah, what a fart talk,
like
baby.
This.
That one was beautiful. I'm so grateful for you.
So
how are you feeling at the end of this one?
I felt really good. I didn't feel like, a little bit we did some like learning knowledge type thing, and like maybe a little bit of teaching. But it feels like
it's a mix though.
Yeah, it feels like I'm just vibing right now. We literally just talked about farts for 20 minutes.
Right, exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
And yeah, I don't know. That conversation yesterday, thankfully, I feel as if a good trait that I have is once it's deeply in my awareness, I immediately begin the integration to heal that part of me, to solve it, whatever it is, to feel it fully, to allow that part of me to exist. And then from there, live a life that feels right for me after that point. But having a group of people around you that can be that level of authentic and tell you like, hey, you're not showing up the way we know you.
Right.
On the thing that you deeply value and you want to be the impact to the world, you know? So that was really big, and just has led to more and more growth, more and more unraveling of who I am, who I'm not, how I can become more embodied, how can I become more of my true self in front of everyone, how can I have more fun, and it's all perfect. And so yesterday was a huge conversation, and just being more aware of the performative aspects that we may have, and if it feels right for us to understand why they may be there, but we don't even have to get to the bottom of it to understand it and to overcome it if we so please.
Yeah.
But the level that I feel as if awareness that I received yesterday that I'm now beginning to embody feels so freeing. Because this not only stands with being able to show up on camera better and just talk about farts like this, which is awesome, but also there's this, when that's with you for some aspect of life, like this, our profession, pretty much being on camera, it's with you for all aspects of life. So me having to be a certain way was stopping me from doing things I really want to do. I had a certain judgment around at 2 p.m. right before this thing, playing an hour of video games or taking a nap, which is like the simplest things. We're like, what's wrong with that?
Right.
What's wrong with
There's
that?
Nothing wrong with
We've been programmed that if you're a certain way, if you're working a certain, you can't do that. What are we talking about?
Right. Who came up with that?
Exactly. And so even a big thing was today, I didn't set an alarm this morning.
And you still woke up at 7.
Woke up before my alarm. But anyways, the thought counts.
It's the thought that
symbolic.
Counts. Exactly.
It was big. So probably go to bed at the same time. But anyways, being able to loosen the grips
Mm-hmm.
on yourself and your reality, realizing that like all those things weren't my conscious choosing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just my unconscious beliefs around how I must live to do a certain thing or to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And realizing that's all just made up. And now I can make up other quote unquote rules,
Mm-hmm.
if we even want that to be the case, where I can just fully express myself in all moments. It feels so impactful. It feels so powerful. It feels like partially what we're here to do on the planet
Yeah.
is uncover who we truly are and be fully embodied. And so, yeah, just immensely grateful for you, for our GM, for the conversation, for just everything.
I love that. And by the way, because I feel like someone needs to have this said again, GM means general manager.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know someone's like, who's our GM? Who is that? It's our general manager, which we'll do a name reveal eventually, because he's a king. We'll just give you that little teaser.
He might be on the pod. He may be the first
Yeah,
guest.
we might bring him on as the first guest,
Yeah.
because he is amazing. And he was my sous chef on the cook session yesterday. So
yeah,
shout out to him. He's a king.
We call a hardcore coaching session a cook session.
Yes, because your soul is being cooked on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are being cooked on. So we're not preparing a meal. You are the meal.
And you all cooked me well done. I'll
Exactly.
Tell you that.
We put
well
you on
done.
the grill
well
and we
done.
said, flip that thing in 20 minutes. And we just went back and forth flipping that thing.
You're like searing that thing,
exactly.
put some salt on it.
Put a salt bay on there.
Yeah.
We loved it. But
It
you're so amazing. I mean, the next time we have a cook session like that, I'd love to record it and share it, because I do think it's incredibly powerful to like bring people into conversations like that. So that is something that we're thinking about on the horizon. It's so weird to like do that in the moment, because you never know when it's going to happen. Like we didn't plan for that to happen at all. That was probably the last thing we expected to happen yesterday. But the next time we have a soul surgery session and we get those chefs out, and even if it's me, even if it's our GM, even if it's Cam, we will be showing it, because we are wide open books. We don't care. We're just trying to create something that moves people, makes them feel more alive, makes them feel more connected to their selves, their truth, their bodies. And if that can help people feel the aliveness of those moments, ooh, why not? So
I love it.
I think this is a great place to leave off for today. I am so, so grateful for you, baby Lou.
I love my fart queen.
I love my fart king.
We are psycho.
Listen, how am I the fart queen when it's debatable if you've never... I don't even think...
You haven't even got your crown yet.
I would actually...
For the fart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would put in a little slip on whether or not to rewind the tapes and see if I actually farted. So I'm going to put a flag on the play. And we're going to have to rewind like in the NBA games, because I don't know if that was real. I don't know if I actually farted.
I heard it.
No,
See, this is still it. This is still it.
Debatable. Debatable.
I know a fart when I hear it.
Yeah, you should.
I know a fart when I smell it.
You would be surprised.
Farted.
You guys don't even know this man. How many have you let off during this episode? It felt like a light one.
Probably like 3 middies. I think you're just desensitized.
I could be. My nostril hairs have been trained for war over the last year and a half, I will say. Especially because I'll leave you with this very beautiful visual. So everybody who's either in a relationship or single can enjoy this. Imagine for a moment that you're lying on the bed. You wake up in the morning and you are greeted by your loving partner coming into the bed and saying, huh? And then what does that mean? That means that I am Big Spoon and that he's naked and I am now cradling what I call warm belly. Okay? So imagine me as Big Spoon. During this situation, now as a visual, we are like this. You see that gap? See that gap? That is where when the fart happens, it travels all the way up straight to my nose. I'm saying if you were to take a bottle and capture a pure fart, and like the potency of that is what I smell, because it goes straight up the chute to my nose hairs. So I just want to leave everyone with that visual, because that's something to look forward to for couple life. for our single friends, like put that in the visualizations. That's very real. And maybe we're just very odd. I don't know if everyone sleeps naked, but this man definitely does. But I have been through quite a few tests on the nose hair front, and I'm so grateful for it. It truly does like bring me joy now. Like I never could have imagined that I would cheer on a fart, but that is who I've become. And it's beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we work so hard for.
This is exactly.
For a fart catcher baddie like this.
Not a fart catcher.
That loves you so much.
Yeah.
That they've made it into an art form.
Yeah.
Of smelling your deepest, darkest bodily gases.
Wow.
So.
Something to look forward to, folks.
This is what we get up for.
This is what
why we go to war. For this.
You are nuts. I love you, sweet.
I love you.
Thank you for bringing your full self.
You're welcome. Never thought this would come out while doing it.
Oh, this was absolutely beautiful.
Not the only thing came out of this episode.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We are so grateful for you guys. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.